Welcome to the RPG After Years, your weekly show covering all things RPGs from the past, present, and the future. I'm Jay.
And I'm Scott.
Welcome to episode 45. This week is going to be a bit different and a bit shorter than usual. All of our schedules were crazy between work, family, holidays. Because of that, we are recording a semi-last minute episode to cover RPG Club, small amount of news, and a quick catch-up. And we are richless. No Rich.
Wah, wah, wah.
He's working very hard at the local GameStop.
As usual.
So we are going to just move on to catch up. So Scott, what's been going on?
Man, I've gotten a lot of gaming done in this past week. I don't know how I pulled it off considering everything else that's been going on. I think it had to do with the fact that for Corey's birthday, we went up to... So I've mentioned her several times on the shore before, but one of our closest friends is this girl named Lauren. She's even been on a patron bonus episode. But her family owns this cabin that is up in Saltville, Virginia, which is like a middle of nowhere type town. And it also, the cabin is so far out in like the middle of the fucking woods that like there's no Wi-Fi. They can't even get Wi-Fi if they really, really wanted it. And there's no cell signal. If you go like 10 minutes, 10 minutes away from the cabin, you get cell signal back. But you can't get it there. So it's like a total disconnect. So we had like the whole weekend like where that was like our only form of entertainment. So I'll run down the list quickly here. Corey has been continuing to play Cyberpunk 2077. Which we'll talk about a little bit more in depth in a few minutes. But the actual game, again, we are playing on the PS4 game on the PS5. There are a lot of bugs, but overall it's an enjoyable experience. Not my type of game at all. In fact, when Corey's doing side quests, which is most of the time, I'm like bored to tears. But when he is doing the story, it's actually fairly entertaining, unless he's like in one of like the super like, you know, first person shooter sections where you're just going through whatever area shooting people.
Yeah, the narrative of the game is good.
Yeah, I really like the story. I think we just completed like that first round of missions where what's his name? Dex. He gives you like some objectives to do, and it results in like a chain of 2 or 3 missions.
Do you have the spider yet?
I think we just got it.
Okay.
But we haven't met Keanu Reeves yet. So, and I know you mentioned last time that you had met him for a while ago. So we're still a ways back from you. But that little part with the where you... What's her name? Evelyn, I think. You like have to reconstruct not the crime scene, but like figure out info by controlling time almost.
Brain dance.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
It is a really cool mechanic. It's like it's basically playing like studio version of somebody's memory. That's
cool. So I hope that continues to be like a mechanic throughout the game. Maybe you can confirm.
I'll tell you right now, I have not done it since. Okay.
Man, it seems like a lot of work probably went into that, so you would think they would take advantage of it.
Yes.
Oh, well. The characters...
Granted, disclaimer, I have not done... So there are a lot of side quests that I have not done. So who knows, maybe it's more important.
Okay. But like I said, we'll talk about Cyberpunk's various tragedies that have been going on even since just last time we recorded shortly. At the cabin, we played Life is Strange 2. We got all the way through episode 4 out of 5, and then discovered that episode 5 was not on disc, which I knew, but when I downloaded it, that was months ago on the PS4. So, and I didn't think about, I need to do that on the PS5 as well. So I took the PS5 to the cabin, and we weren't able to finish or keep playing episode 5. But I really like it. It continues to deliver, I think. And I think it's still probably on track to being better than the first one, which I also loved. Of course, we're still playing Nier Automata. I just hit the checkpoint yesterday, which technically was after the deadline, but it's also before we recorded. So, what do you think, Jay? Do I get a strike or no?
I'll let you slide.
Thanks, man. I'll remember this.
Yeah.
But we don't have a main discussion this time. So
I think for this, though, you should retroactively remove my strike because I hit the checkpoint the day after you guys recorded. So.
And your checkpoint was even like more like weird, extenuating circumstances.
My child deleted the save file, yes.
Right. Okay, so neither one of us gets a strike, and I think Rich is not even Rich has had a strike this time. I don't know if he made the checkpoint this time or no, but I imagine not. I don't know.
Yeah, he's been busy.
Yeah. With my personal free time, where Corey is busy, I've been playing Super Mario Galaxy 2 still on that green star hunt, just randomly bouncing between galaxies, getting green stars, trying to unlock that final galaxy. It's not great, but it's also not the worst. I have fun when I'm playing it. I can't remember if I told you or not, but basically, once you beat the game and get like all 120 stars, it unlocks 120 more green stars, which are basically just like a hidden collectible.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 per galaxy. So it's not super fun, but it's also not the worst thing I've ever done.
I feel like I could do it if I got really high beforehand.
There you go. When you do get like all 240 stars, it unlocks the final galaxy, which is just like a super hard level, basically. That's what I'm striving towards, to make Corey see this final galaxy before we do the review. So, been playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just a little bit, and only because Sephiroth came out in Smash. And anytime there's a new character, they add like a myriad of content that comes with that, like finishing their classic mode and just getting used to the character. Overall, I think Sephiroth is like fun. He's a good character. He's not that hard to figure out. The only thing is you have to his playstyle is like you have to be very intentional with what you're doing. Like you can't just like mash buttons or whatever. So in that sense, I would not say he is beginner friendly. But he's also not like a tricky character where you use like, how the fuck does this character work?
So he's no Kirby, and also no what's the guy from the first Xenoblade?
Shulk.
He sucks. I hate using Shulk. I hate it.
I'm not very good with him in this one, but in the last Smash, he was one of my mains. I don't know if it's because I used to be better at Smash or what, but yeah. So Sephiroth's cool. I like that he's in Smash. Also been playing The World Ends With You. Corey and I just are about to finish week 2. We were literally playing this right before record time. Not sure.
Pick that back up.
So they announced a sequel finally, like 13 years later, a couple months back. And so I wanted to like get through the first. I'm a big The World Ends With You fan, so I wanted him to see the first one, so that and the potential that he could also enjoy the second one whenever that comes out. I'm not sure he's loving it, but he's putting up with it. So, which is more than I could say about some games.
I was hoping this would get picked for RPG Club.
I think he nominated it his first time through. And if that's not the case, then he strongly considered it. But I don't think he's loving it, but he's putting up with it. The Switch docked controls still suck. But I've like gotten used to them. It's kind of hard. Like, I don't know, but I much enjoyed the DS version. But the story is still great. It's the same story. The story is amazing. Still been playing Xenoblade Chronicles. We actually beat it. I'm not going to play the beat game jingle just because on my Alyssey list I also included side quests. And so, like, technically I'm at like 97%. But the ending was very good. Like, it ended in a very satisfactory way. And I will say that it might be one of my favorite, like, casts of a JRPG since, like, FF10, FF13. Like, I love all the characters. But yeah, it's not my favorite game. I think maybe it's a little overhyped, but overall, I would say Xenoblade Chronicles is a really good game.
When are you going to start the second one?
So now we have started Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, which is like the extra little story campaign that came with the Switch version. And I don't think it's supposed to be that long. I think even if you do completionism, it's going to be like, maybe 10 to 13 hours. Mm-hmm. And I've been enjoying that as well. The new characters in that aren't annoying to me as much as I thought they would based on what people have told me. But I imagine once we finish that, how quickly we play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will be based purely on how fast Corey wants to play it.
I imagine that you guys will end up wanting a break. Especially once you fire up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and hear the voice cast.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things. I thought the voice acting in the first one was really good, more or less, but I've heard mixed things about the second one.
The main character in 2, Rex, so bad. I cannot stand it. Like, it's one of the hardest things and probably one of the biggest reasons I keep drifting away from the game. Because this last time I played it, I got pretty far. Like, I'm probably about 40% through the main story. And I just stopped playing it and never go back to it.
I've heard it gets better as you go in as far as the voice acting. Well, just everything gets better the further you get. But if you were 40% through and you still hated the voice acting, then
I don't think there's much that you can do to fix like this Australian English high-pitched bastardized voice.
Do you think it's just the voice, or are you one of those people that gets annoyed by the accents?
I feel like it's a really bad accent, but also his voice. So it's a really bad accent mixed with like kind of a whiny voice to me. Like Rex sounds like kind of a whiner whenever he talks, even when he's not whining. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. So it's just kind of annoying because there are other characters that have accents in the game and they sound great.
Okay.
It's just Rex. It's just Rex's voice is the one that bothers me.
There's one character in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 who is usually not my type of character archetype that I enjoy, but his accent is so sexy that I'm like, that's my favorite character. In the chat, Larley, who is Lauren, says Life is Strange 2 is so good it seeped its way into my dreams that night. In Life is Strange 2, in that part we played, you have to deal with a cult leader, and I think she remembered telling us about arguing with like a religious cult leader the next morning. So, Rich is here in the chat as well. Hey, man.
Oh, no. Leave.
We also started Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We've been slowly working our way through this new Tomb Raider trilogy. Finally got to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the one that Lauren has not played and been waiting years for Corey and I to get through the first two. It started strong. Haven't been super impressed with those other games, but we'll see where this one goes. Regardless, we got to finish the trilogy. And then we actually, we're at a remote, not a creepy ass cabin, but we're at a remote cabin in these creepy ass woods with no access to outside society. So we had to play Blair Witch, which is a very short game that we've been slowly working on for like a year. And we finished it. Yeah.
I wanted to say this is on Game Pass, and I keep like passing by it, thinking like, oh, this might be kind of fun. But I keep remembering I hate being scared.
Well, It was kind of like a middling game for most of it. Like, not that I was like super hating it, but so the idea is you're like this dude who has PTSD and a child has gone missing in this like local community. And so the dude goes to assist the police department, and he has like this really smart dog who is like trained to be like a PTSD helper, and it can like track shit and is like obeys every command very fervently. And it just helps you like find clues and shit to find the kid that's gone missing. But of course, it turns into like a Blair Witch situation, as these things do.
I've never even seen. I've never seen Blair Witch or anything, so I don't.
Wow.
I don't know.
But you don't like scary
I
movies.
don't like being scared.
Yeah.
No.
But this last part that we played was really enjoyable. Like it actually got pretty scary, and the mechanics it asks you to use to like avoid the demon tree people or whatever the fuck they were supposed to be was very interesting and innovative. Overall, it's still like a mediocre horror game, but like it does some things to make itself interesting towards the end.
I'm waiting for there to be a horror game that everyone's just like, this is game of the year. This is game of the year. Because I feel like most horror games are just like, oh, it's all right. So like truly horror games. I don't know if I consider Resident Evil horror games at this point.
Yeah, not the modern ones. I was just about to say the Resident Evil 2 remake, which does have its scary moments, but it's not really, like you said, it's not really super horror.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically it for the games I've been playing. I've been dealing with a lot of interview stuff. I won't talk about that too much because I feel like I've gone on for too long already. But I will mention, because I don't think it's been announced on the podcast so far, our friend Rachel, aka Mrs. Dizzy, who did
Friend
all
of the show, Mrs. Dizzy.
Yes, we had her husband, Mr. Dizzy, or just Dizzy, I guess.
Friend of the show, Mr. Dizzy.
She actually, we launched a website for her in the past couple of weeks. This was a labor of my love. Jay helped some, but I was able to launch her website this last week, and I'm happy with it, and everybody else seems to be too. So you can go check that out at Designs by Dizzy. I think it's actually just design. Is it Designed by Dizzy or Designs? I better check.
Try both.
Try both. But super talented artist and also a wonderful person. So go check that out if you want to see what I'm capable of and also see all her art. Sorry that took so long, Jay. How about you?
Well, I did nothing next. Just kidding. That would be pretty funny though. So I did have a semi-eventful week at least. I think it's been. I might as well give the last 2 weeks since I was not on the last episode. So I have been playing enough Final Fantasy V. Well, no, I think I just got that wrong. I'm gonna retcon myself. I was on the last episode. It was
Just say you were on last week.
It was the episode before I missed. My days are my weeks are all merging as 2020 ends in this final quarter. But I have continued on Final Fantasy V. So I'm past the Turtle Sage, and I'm heading towards the Magical Forest.
Okay, you're about to get to some serious shit.
So I've beaten Gilgamesh and that what is it? Ultron, the weird thing that comes out of the tower, the barrier tower at the very top. I can't remember the name. It's like the sludge-looking interdimensional monster.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember its name either.
Yeah, I've been getting by the skin of my teeth through like every section here, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be hitting some roadblocks by how everybody's talked about the last kind of section of 5. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I figured out how to do Steam Link, so I can play, stream my Steam games to my phone. So that's making everything a lot easier.
Yeah, you've been really going on about that.
It's so cool. It's so cool. It works.
It just makes it to where whatever you're playing on Steam is streamed to whatever device you want.
Yeah, you basically. So whenever you do it, you Like you open up the Steam link on your phone, and you can connect your PS4 controller to your phone, and then you open Steam Link. You pick the computer that's like the host, quote unquote. Well, it is a host. I guess it's not facetiously quote unquote. It's the actual streaming host, and you pick it. It connects. You can like go like Steam opens up on the actual host computer, so my gaming PC, and as I'm like going through the library on my phone, you can see it moving around on my monitor. You pick a game, the game opens on my gaming computer, but it's streaming to my phone. It's really, really cool, and it's all over your local network, so you're not getting slammed with internet charges if you have data caps and stuff. It's really cool, and there is a lag, but it's very small. So like most games, it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't like play Cyberpunk on it all the time, but I can play Cyberpunk on it if I wanted to. It's really, really awesome. But because of that, I've been putting more time into Trails of Cold Steel, the first one. I've made it to chapter 2. It took me 12 hours to get to chapter 2, and I think there's 7 chapters total. So it's gonna continue to be a slow grind. I feel like I've maybe done 20 battles the entire chapter, and the rest is like conversations and world building. So
is that good or bad?
slow.
Would you rather be doing more battles or have more story?
I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit because there's some voice acting, but other than that, it's just a ton of reading and a ton of text. And my brain, usually by the end of the day, I'm just like, I
get that.
read. And so usually I just end up skimming because most of the side quests is just full of text. So I just end up skimming and skipping and like, okay, I'm delivering books. I don't really need to read the conversations back and forth here. But then I kind of get worried, like I'm going to miss some sort of world building. So that's kind of poopy. But I am still enjoying it. It's got an interesting battle system. I have been playing Nier Automata. Gracie got really, really into the story as well and has been begging me to play it. So I ended up hitting the checkpoint. Like
it's interesting that she's so into it, considering how weird it is.
Yes, it's very difficult to explain some of the things to her. That's been really interesting. But I made it to the checkpoint and everything. We'll talk about it later. But I also started on this next section, and I'm so into it.
I'm intrigued.
Whenever we'll just talk about it more in the RPG Club. So outside of Nier Automata, I played a little bit of Cyberpunk. I decided to go ahead and just start a new game as a corpo, and we'll probably not.
Wait, you started a new game?
I did start a new game because I was already I was unhappy that I moved through the main story so fast without doing like side content leading up to it. But also I cannot get over the fact that I picked a mullet. So
fair.
I picked a mullet with like pretty bright red hair, and I just can't do it anymore.
That's so stupid that you can't I guess it makes sense, but like, come on, just let us recustomize it.
Yeah, people get haircuts.
Yeah.
Come on. People dye their hair.
Mistakes can be fixed.
Exactly. So what else have I played? Little bit of Animal Crossing. We bought New Horizon. Mainly as a early Christmas present that Gracie's been begging for, and she's been playing it and getting.
What made her want it so much?
A YouTuber called Cookie Swirl C.
All right. So, after seeing her play it or whatever, do you feel like you get Animal Crossing? Maybe you don't think it's for you, but do you get the appeal?
So I get the appeal to people who are able to just chill. For me, like I have a really short attention span, and I'm also like I don't know, kind of sporadic, like real jittery. Like I'm always moving around or fidgeting. So Animal Crossing is probably not a game I can sit down and play unless I had influencers or like alcohol and things to that make me stay still.
Understandable.
But Megan's also played it a little bit. I'm a little thrown off by the fact that you can only have one island per Switch.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. I don't know why that is, but that was like a thing that drew like some criticism
Yeah,
when it
like
was unveiled or whatever.
Gracie started it first, so it's called Gracie's. Like the island is called Gracie's because Gracie's Island.
I mean, that's kind of a cool island name.
Yeah, Megan went to go play it, and it was like, "Oh, hey, a new resident of Gracie's Island." And Megan's like, "This is bullshit. I don't want to be on her island." But it's kind of funny watching Gracie watch Megan play because since Gracie started out as the first person to play it, she's immediately like the Animal Crossing expert. So she's like telling Megan how to play it, and like, "No, that's not how you fish. You're doing it wrong." It's pretty funny. What else?
That is funny.
I picked Tales of Vesperia back up and
Really?
probably put in another 3 to 4 hours and hit some really, really good points.
Jay, you've been busy too this week.
Yes, I have been. I am very excited about it, about continuing it because the story is really, really picked up. So I had originally hit I don't know what the heck, like why I stopped playing it. So I'm pretty sure I stopped playing it because I got stuck in a forest. I got stuck on a boss that was just annihilating me. I went and picked it up and was like, okay, I guess this boss is the one that I have to beat because it was absolutely annihilating me last time. I went to go battle it and beat it within like 3 minutes. I'm like, what? Why? Like, how did this happen? And then I remember that Gracie has been playing it and just like grinding.
Oh, wow.
Just playing it. And
That's
so
funny.
I was like, yes, okay.
Oh, brilliant. Just have your child do all your grinding.
This is my plan. Yes, I'm going to bribe her. But I'm wanting to say this might be...
And hope she doesn't delete your save file or overwrite it.
Yeah. Because she'll play like Nier Automata as well, just walking around. Like she creates her own little storylines in her head and like does her own thing using her imagination.
That's
but
cute.
she accidentally did the mission where you deliver the oil to Pascal from the Android village area. And that's whenever the huge machines like start attacking the three of them, like right before the city's destroyed. And she was like, I can't do this. I'm out. I will not do this. And so now she probably won't play again until we have chapter select.
It should be coming up soon. I think it unlocks shortly before the end, and we're almost there, I think. So
I think we are almost there. But I think this might be everything. I think I might have diddled with a few other games, but nothing worth noting.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like we both have some very productive weeks, and I will throw out there that today is like day 2 or 3 of my 2-week vacation. So my next update is also going to be chunky, unfortunately. So
mine will probably be similar to what it is now.
There you go.
So with that being said, we are actually going to skip the save state of the podcast. I know how much every single one of you listeners love to hear about the save state and our benefits and Patreon and whatnot. But for the sake of time, we're going to skip it. So let's move on to the news.
Hear ye, gather round for all your news. Stop your clatter and listen close. Alas, you won't believe your ears. Listen close for the news.
So I am going to open it up with some more CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk drama.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. Like I feel equal parts bad. Well, I feel bad for the developers at like the software engineers and the game developers at and the designers at CDPR. I do not feel bad for like the executive leadership who obviously made some bad decisions.
To be clear, what we're about to talk about the last time we talked about Cyberpunk, we had already talked about how shitty the launch was, but this was before the game was actually pulled from the store.
Yeah, and that's part of the news that the console versions have been pulled out of the digital storefronts, and like everywhere is issuing refunds for it. And that like that's how bad it is, because apparently Sony and Microsoft like allowed them to certify their game with the expectation that issues would be fixed. Like they gave them that trust, and CDPR just ran that into the dumpster. So the refunds are going out. You can no longer get the digital version for PlayStation at the moment until it's everything's been addressed.
Which is insanity. Like I can't. I'm sure there may be some precedent before, but I can't think of another like AAA game that has just been like straight up pulled from the digital stores.
Yep, it's bad news, and because of this, a lot of people and a lot of lawyers are considering suing CDPR for misleading stakeholders. So whenever you basically they have not said anything about the issues that have been happening on the console or how bad it was. They've said that they've actually straight up said it runs surprisingly well. Like whenever you make that whenever you make that official statement, and it was obviously a lie or misleading or not the full truth. Whenever you make statements like that as a public company, and it causes your stocks to rise, because CDPR stocks were going through the roof. They saw a huge increase because of Cyberpunk. And then whenever it was released, boom, they plummeted. Their stock prices plummeted. And that is considered misleading your investors, making statements that are not true. So there's a good chance that they're going to get sued on behalf of the investors in the company for misleading. So
I didn't actually read this article that you linked. I wasn't aware that the lawsuit was coming from the investors. That's bad news, bears.
Yeah, and it's a public since it's publicly traded company. Like the investors are just whoever decided to go and buy stock.
Oof.
Yeah, it's gonna get messy if they end up actually deciding to sue, which by all means they probably should. Like this was a really bad situation that the CDPR leadership created.
So last week on the main episode, we talked briefly about all the news that was coming out, and like I said, it was before all the talk of refunds and like the refunds actually being confirmed and the game being pulled happened. We even did an aftercast about just this subject, about how messy of a launch it was, and then the story continued to develop after we recorded that, and it just got so much worse. And I told the boys I almost regretted not waiting to record that aftercast. And honestly, I think we might see how the things continue to develop, and once Rich is more available, do another one because I feel like this issue is going to be something that's still widely talked about for the next couple of weeks, most likely.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it also leads to better practices in game development, because I feel like I think I mentioned this in the aftercast that like software development and game development like ultimately is not that different. Like the fields are not that different. It's just different types of software being developed, and there are a lot of different standards between the two. And so
yeah.
I don't know. I think there should be some sort of overhaul of the game development industry.
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I lean probably good. But it seems like since this is one of the first major instances of something being straight up pulled from the store and refunds being given out, that it may lead towards companies not releasing games before they're ready, or taking that delay no matter what, financial promises have been made or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Square Enix delayed the 7 remake, and it was great when it came out. So
yeah, and And to be clear, like I said this last week, I still think Cyberpunk is a good game. Maybe not for people playing it on PS4 or Xbox One or whatever, but it's just it's like Corey says in the chat. I feel bad for CDPR employees. Lauren says, "Me too." Super embarrassing. It's just like, man, how did the most highly anticipated game of this year, aside from 7 Remake and Last of Us 2 came out this year, but Cyberpunk is on a similar caliber to them, I would think, even being a new property. It's just a fucking embarrassment.
Yeah, and like the actual people who are sitting down and developing this game, and the people who are designing it, they're like so excited to share it and feeling so good, and then this happens. Like, it hurts my heart so bad to just imagine how they feel.
I've heard that even the developers are like kind of publicly giving shit to like the people over the marketing and the release and all that, which is kind of crazy. But if developer, I guess even the developers feel empowered by how outrageous the public opinion is.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, there's going to be more on this news story coming out over the weeks, and Jay, Rich, and I will get together and really dive in do like a post-mortem thing at some point, another aftercast or whatever. But anyway. Okay, so our next news story, Final Fantasy XI for mobile has reportedly stopped production. So apparently, I was vaguely aware of this, but apparently in 2015, Cyberpunk, I'm still got Cyberpunk on the brain. God damn. Square Enix announced they were working on like a mobile version of Final Fantasy XI, which is, the older of the two Final Fantasy MMOs. And since then, we've heard almost nothing. We've got like a couple screenshots here and there and like a couple Nothing Burger updates. But apparently it's not happening anymore, which is kind of disappointing because I, for one, I want to play every mainline Final Fantasy. At one point I said maybe not the MMOs, but now that I have a PC, I'm thinking plus the MMOs, or close to having a PC anyway.
Are you still waiting on that? Still?
I got the email today that my replacement CPU has been shipped. So it should be here within the next 3 days. Oh, so how soon I get the PC running is going to depend on the PC repair shop's Christmas schedule.
Yeah, just in time for everything to be closed for Christmas.
Exactly. But apparently Square Enix was working in collaboration with Nexon to bring FF11 over, and I think just the lack of news that we've heard on it is not that surprising that this has been canceled. On the other hand, maybe it is, because a news story that we covered a month or two ago was that they were making new content for FF11. So, who knows? You got any thoughts on this, Jay?
I don't. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know, like kind of foreshadowing Square Enix's financial status at the moment. We'll see.
Making an MMO, just like making a mobile version, that just seems like a big undertaking in the first place, even a game that old.
Also kind of seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Maybe they just sat down for once and realized this is a bad idea. This is like 2000 all over again. Let's not do this.
As long as there is always a version of FF11 for us to play, I guess I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right, so the next news item, Disgaea?
I think it's Disgaea.
Disgaea RPG to see a global English launch in spring 2021. So ForwardWorks has announced that free-to-play mobile game Disgaea RPG will see a global English launch in spring 2021 for iOS and Android. It was released back in Japan in March of 2019 and had like lots of severe issues, and it ended up getting shut down and then relaunched like several months later. It is popular enough, it seems. So we will be seeing that in the English areas of the world. So I don't know, that's pretty cool. Another mobile game. Um, I think
Normally, this would be the type of story to where we could take it or leave it on the show. But I mainly put it on there because I think the show will soon be going into Disgaea mode.
yes, I know I'm going to be playing Disgaea for the Golden Year sect of the podcast because I played 4 for a little bit and I liked it. So why not play 1?
I'm surprised you're so willing after the FF5 fiasco.
FF5, I don't know why it's so boring for me. At least, so the since Disgaea is like a strategy game, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be like at least a bit more like challenging or not boring.
I'm interested, but I'm not willing to commit yet. So, but from what I've heard, it's a good game. So I guess we'll find out. And Disgaea fans out there, you get your mobile game soon that even Fringe series are getting these days. So, just a quick story here. The final demo for Bravely Default 2 is now available on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not really a Bravely Default guy. I haven't played them. I know it's a very popular RPG series. And from what I have heard, this demo has addressed a lot of the concerns that people have had from playing the previous demos. That it seems like it's really coming together now in these like final stages of development. So, congrats to Bravely Default fans. Hopefully this sequel lives up to people's expectations. You got any thoughts on that, Jay?
Bravely Default's one of those games that I have. It's on my list, but I just never play it. I want to play it, but I need a reason to play it.
Somebody in our Discord recently, I can't remember who it was. They said that they loved the art style of the Bravely Default games, and
I think that was me.
Was it you?
Because it's like hand-drawn backgrounds or hand-drawn. Come on.
Yeah,
don't
the
you
backgrounds
look at me like
good.
that.
I was when I just see
like
those
the
characters.
Chibi fat bellies. Okay.
I was about to say I just see those chibi characters, man. And I'm like, gross.
But they look better in 2.
They do look more
bellies.
Right. I'm glad I accidentally called you out trying to like hate on somebody else.
Yeah, right. I don't. I hated Final Fantasy IV with the chibis. It's like, oh, why you got to give Cecil a pot belly?
Yeah, for real. Like I hated it. I did. Well, I was about to say I finished it, but I actually made it to the final dungeon and then gave up, and then played the superior PSP version and finished it. But like that art style they used for the FF3 DS and FF4 DS, I hate it. So, but yeah, so go play the demo. The game comes out like mid-February, I think.
All right, next up, Nihon Falcom revealed The Legend of Heroes Kuro no Kiseki, a brand new RPG in the Trail series. It's going to be released in 2021 in Japan. No news on a worldwide or English release, but hopefully it'll come. This article does say that it's going to have a new battle system that seamlessly moves from action-based to command-based turn battles. That'll be interesting because the current Trails game that I'm playing has there's a pretty distinct line between like combat and non-combat. So it'll be really cool to see something that's a little more seamless.
Do you know, I tried to read about it. Is this supposed to be like the next like main game in the Trails series?
I think so. It is a new RPG in the Trail series, but I don't know much more aside from that.
Because even the ones we have already, they're not named like Trails 2 and Trails 3 or anything like that. It's always like a different subtitle.
Trails of Cold Steel 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, shit.
And then Trails of the Sky 1, 2, 3, and something. Yeah, so there are it's a whole universe of games and then sequels and reoccurring cast and loose interwoven stories.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've been generally enjoying Trails so far, and so many other people. So I'm sure others out there are excited for that announcement. Super quick news story since I already talked about it earlier. Sephiroth is out now in Smash. They did do a challenge mode to where you could unlock him early, but I think as of this recording today, he is available for everybody, even if you somehow couldn't manage to beat him in that challenge mode.
I feel like we need a Sephiroth drop, like the beginning of the Sephiroth song, because I feel like at some point it has to be a meme that before any kind of reveal, like there's just a chance it could be Sephiroth. Like oh, what did Rich play last week? And then we wait for it, drum roll, and Sephiroth's music just starts playing. There has to be it's so memeable.
Should it just be the Sephiroth?
I think the beginning chords of Sephiroth's song that always play right whenever something starts to go down with Sephiroth. I think that's enough.
I think that was how you could tell if somebody was a true FF7 fan or not, is
because that's when they all lost their mind.
All the people doing the reaction videos to the Sephiroth announcement, if they didn't react as soon as they heard the dun 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 from the opening chords or whatever, it's like, oh, they don't care about Sephiroth.
Get out of here.
They're not a fan.
But I feel like it could be such a good meme that just for every single drum roll surprise, it just starts with just Sephiroth's those chord dropping. It's like, oh, what kind of car did you get?
I do think last week I made the joke that whenever Sephiroth wins on the victory screen, if it's not this game's winner is Sephiroth, then I didn't want the DLC. But it doesn't have the this game's winner is part, but his victory screen is really literally that. Sephiroth.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so they partially fulfilled that. But I'm super happy with Sephiroth in Smash. I think he turned out good, and excited to maybe one day get good with him. Probably not. Okay, RPG releases. Nothing super major, so I'm going to blaze through this. All these happened on December 17th. Mercenaries Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons came out on Switch. Unsung Story came out on the PC, early access. Sephiroth came out in Smash on December 17th, and if you weren't good enough to beat him for some reason, he's available today on the 22nd. Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, that's a mouthful, came out on mobile on December 18th.
It's the inferior KOTOR game.
Oh, okay. You're saying you like the first one better, or just because this is
significantly better?
All right. You heard it here, folks. And then that Genshin Impact patch that we talked about last week, that came out on December 23rd.
All right, so for upcoming RPGs, Omari for PC coming out December 25th. And that's it.
We're really rolling into the end of the year here. We're going to have to start using a new 2021 list of games that are... Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Oh, no.
But that's it for the news. And we do have a bit of a surprise here. Bill actually gave us a Tea Time with Bill.
I will say every week we sit here, we wait, say, oh, is Bill going to send a tea time? I wonder where that tea time is, Bill. Bill, you okay? What's going on, Bill? Where's the tea time? But he finally gave us one.
This was intended to be a almost weekly segment, but none of us really pressure him because we already have time management problems on this show. So, but let's see what he had to say.
And now, it's time we join an old friend once again. It's tea time with Bill.
Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to that warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart. Yes, it's tea time with Bill. And guess what, everybody? I'm here to say Merry fucking Christmas to you all. Yes, the day this episode goes out live to the whole world, it will be the 24th of December. So I'd just like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. from myself here at RPG After Years Towers, London side. And yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle.
We have a tower
of the year,
in London.
It's been all ups and downs and all over the place. We all started the year free as a daisy. The daisy's free? I don't know. But we all started off, without all these silly restrictions, without this global pandemic. Well, I say that. If you're in China, you already had the global pandemic at this point, so sorry about that. But, most of us, we weren't dealing with the pandemic. And it's all gradually crept in and completely screwed with our lives. So, yeah, there's that. What I will say is, from the last couple of episodes, is that Jay, mate, please buy Dead Space. And please, maybe stream yourself on Twitch playing it. I'd love to see it. I absolutely bloody love Dead Space. I had such a good experience with that game when it was out on the 360. I managed to get round my friend's house. He had this big.
Maybe
big
it should be a
armchair.
Patreon goal.
So I moved all of his stuff around, and I got his surround system, plugged it into the Xbox, and then I put each speaker as surround system on a part of the armchair. So I was like surrounded by 6 speakers, and then I put on all the stereo stuff they had on there, and yeah, it was just creepy as playing that game. It was so much fun. I thoroughly suggest you get that, Jay. Please do. Other than that, guys, I have beaten. Let's talk about RPG Golden Years, shall we? I've beaten FF5. Me and Scott, we're waiting on Jay. Come, Jay, pull your finger at your butt to finish FF5, so we can review that. But I finished the next game, everybody. I finished Sword of Vermilion. Oh my god, that game is one grindy ass bitch, but it was really fun at the same time. I was quite surprised at how much I got into that game in the end. And yeah, I'm thoroughly looking forward to reviewing that, but I'm going to wait to the new year because I'm actually off work for a couple of weeks. Woo! Family time, people. And everyone knows what family time means for Bill. That means no podcasting. Just going to spend it with my 2 girls and in my wife and enjoy Christmas together. So there's that. Otherwise, so that does mean, people, that we are starting the next game, which is Disgaea, which Generic Fighter nominated. And I know Jay again. Jay, I'm always talking to you, Jay. Jay, I love you, buddy. You're in my heart, man. You're in my heart. So Jay said he's quite interested in playing Disgaea. It originally came out on the PS2. There is a PSP port of the game. There is also a DS port, which I hear is the worst of the ports, because I think that's got none of the voice acting and all that extra stuff in it. If you listen to the Generic Fighter episode, I'm pretty sure he goes into the ports and talks about it. And it's also available now, called Disgaea 1, on the Nintendo Switch. It's had a nice upbeat HD re-release. So plenty of ways to play that games if you do want to play along with the golden years. Other than that, I think... Dragon Quest. Everyone keeps talking about Dragon Quest 11. I don't know why. These sort of things happen sometimes, don't they? I got Dragon Quest 11 for my birthday back in March. And I couldn't really get into it, so I'd stopped playing it. Just recently, I've been getting that little bug, that little itch in the back of my head. Just like, come on, Bill, give it another chance. So I had a little fiddle with the settings, and I'm a lot happy with it now. I just couldn't stand the voice acting. So I've changed all the voice acting over to the Japanese voices, and I've turned the background music way down. I just realised, the music's okay. I know everyone loves the Dragon Quest music, but I'm not that big a fan, if I'm honest. And it was so in your face that I had to turn it all the way down from 10 to 4. And yeah, that is just so much nicer. It's just, the game is so much more enjoyable to play with having it as actual background music, not in your face music. And I'm much enjoying the Japanese voice acting more. It just seems to fit the characters a bit more than the English voice acting. Although I hear Stefano or something, there's some sort of guy later on who I'm supposed to listen to the English voice actor because he does an amazing job. So I will give that a crack. Don't you worry, guys. Don't you worry. Other than that, let's talk about Zelda Club. Next year, so at some point I have to play Zelda 2, which is an old Patreon benefit. So I'm going to drag other podcasters in with me. I know Scott's quite interested because he's never beaten it.
I didn't know he was going to talk about this.
I hope you're there for me, man. I hope you're with me. But I'm going to RPG After Years club style, shall I say, Zelda 2. I've already got quite a few people said they're interested in joining along with me. I'd like to see how many last past the first palace. But yes, Zelda 2 is split up into several different palaces. So in the new year, probably later on in January, just to give me some time to catch up on things and get round to it, later on in January, we will be playing Zelda 2. So on my sister podcast to this show, Bill's JRPG Adventures and Other Trappings, I will be talking about that a bit more. And I'll be releasing some special episodes with thoughts from the other podcasters playing it. So if you want to play along with us in Zelda 2, there'll be more information on that in the future, but I'm just letting you know now it's coming. So guys, war is over. The pandemic has begun. Is this Christmas? Or has a new year just begun? Something like that. Is this Christmas? What have we done? Jay, I've gone over 5 minutes. Please don't shoot me with a gun. Ooh. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. Love you all. Merry Christmas. Rich, love you, buddy. Merry Christmas. Scott, yeah, you're all right. Merry Christmas. Corey, yeah, please accept my engagement. Please. I love you so much. And Jay, you're the best, man. Love you, bro. And to all the listeners, all my friends, all my family, Merry Christmas, one and all. Love you all. Have a great new year, and let's hope 2021 is a huge improvement on 2020. But let's face it, based on the last 3 or 4 years, there's probably going to be some sort of catastrophic ecosystem collapse, and we're all going to be fucked. Because that's the only thing left to do, really, isn't it? Anyway, love you guys. Hey, Santa's coming.
We haven't had many tea times with Bill over the course of this show, but honestly, I felt like that was one of the more entertaining ones.
Yeah, that was a great tea time, Bill. My love for you is full this evening, and also I would like to mention I forgot to say that I played Dragon Quest XI-S as well.
Oh yeah.
So I've I don't know 8 to 10 hours total put into that. I've made it to some desert palace. I can't remember any names right now because I'm kind of having game overload. Like everything's overlapping. I will say I love the music, but the voice acting is absolutely is god awful. It's worse than it's probably worse than Rex's overall, like Xenoblade 2 overall.
Yeah, you spent a few minutes trashing that earlier.
Yeah, but it's done in a way that's like cutesy, like it's cutesy bad. Like Dragon Quest overall is kind of like a cutesier vibe. So
there's like a little girl character in Dragon Quest XI, right? I think I've heard a bit of her voice acting, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, shoot me.
Yeah. They're all British. That's the problem.
Well, there you go. That's the core issue there.
There is one of the main characters in your party. Like whenever he starts talking, it's like, is it British, Scottish, British? No, that's Scottish. It flips back and forth.
When I remembered that we have a tea time with Bill, I was almost like, I wonder if I could get Rich to record a tea time. That would have been interesting.
That would have been.
Yeah, but that's it for the tea time. So I guess, we already discussed we're not going to have a main discussion this episode because it is Christmas. And
somehow we've made this full episode.
Somehow.
Yeah.
We just can't shut up, man. Like it's bad.
Quite the talkative.
So we're going to take a quick break before we get back to the RPG Club. You still good, brother?
I'm good, homeboy.
Alrighty. Starting back in... Do you want me to introduce the RPG Club, or do you want to do it?
I can do it.
Okay. Just remember I have to play the actual jingle to introduce it. So I'll try to key in on what you're saying as to when to start.
Sounds good.
Starting back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So now it's time for a new episode of the RPG Club.
All right, everyone, quiet down. All rise. We're here today to bring to order the next session of the RPG Club. All in favor? All opposed? And looks like the ayes have it. Then let the RPG Club commence!
So we made it. We finished Route B. We're, I don't know, about 2/3 done with the game. How you feeling?
If even that. I'm still I'm really liking the game. I'm starting to worry that it might be overstaying its welcome a little bit. But based on what I've heard from you, it's like things get really cool just past where we are in the story.
Indeed. So this particular section, it's kind of hard to talk about because you're basically just redoing so many of the missions that we've already talked about, we've already done, but from 9S's perspective, and not a whole lot changes, if I'm being completely honest. One thing that I found very cool, like the machine recon, machine request, machine trade, assault, flooded city recon, like all of that was pretty much the same. For me, where it started to get interesting again was the Forest Kingdom, because you started getting more of like cut scenes of like stories of the machines. It's like from like 9S is telling a story of like yeah, you know, this Forest Kingdom, but here's a little bit more information. Like here, so like some they started like giving you background about specific areas. We kind of got this a little bit with the that first big machine boss battle lady with that had all the androids.
After the one that's concerned about being so beautiful. She was like the stage actress or whatever. Yeah,
so like he hacked into that and started getting like information, like backstories, like memories, and understanding the machines. And the same thing kind of happens with the Forest Kingdom. You are given a background story of the robots there and the king and how they made their time there. And I thought that was really cool.
I did too, actually, because one of the side quests that I did in Route A sort of explained that the baby or whatever was not like the king, which is what I thought originally. I guess it ended up being the new king, but like they had another king that you end up finding its body and stuff.
Yeah, so they had the king, and then the king died, and they took like the memory of the king and put it in the baby, and then they're like, "What the hell? Why is the baby not getting bigger?"
Yeah, they don't understand.
Yeah, they're kind of lost there.
But then it's like, but it's so cute.
Yes.
And then A2 slaughters it.
And yes, rapidly. I don't know why that happens. Like, I sure hope that's explained. Like, why?
Surely it will be.
Why'd you kill that baby robot? But that was pretty much the main things that happened up until you get what was it? You after the whole Adam kidnaps 9S,
right?
So after you don't even get a whole lot more information about that. Even I don't feel like.
This is my main complaint that I wanted to talk about. You tell me I'm going to have to replay the entire game so far from 9S's perspective. Okay. That's a lot of time. 9S and 2B were together for a large chunk of Route A.
I blew past this, by the way, like maybe 3 hours total.
Wow. I'm
still under 11 hours for the entire game.
Jesus. I think we're under 40, but we might, I'm not sure, around there. But we've been doing all the side quests. But I was expecting, 2B and 9S get separated during that, missile mission where you are doing all the flying gunner Gundam shit against the whale mech or whatever. And I expected after that, okay, there's going to be a huge, everything from that point on is going to be more or less new, seeing what 9S was up to, how did he get, kidnapped, what did he, maybe even how did he resist or anything. But no, it's basically the same exact story with a lot more hacking.
Yeah, that's the only thing they gave us, we need to reboot our system, some hacking, and then it's 2B saving you. It's like, I wanted some conversation between 9S and Adam.
Yeah.
Like we don't get a whole lot from Adam.
I figured there would be a whole new set of cutscenes and story, and
there are a few new cutscenes of Adam and Eve like talking to each other, talking about reading the Bible, like hinting that they're reading the Bible,
which is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but it's not enough. I expected more.
Yeah.
The real big chunk of new story from 9S's perspective is whenever he is back at the like the command ship, and he recognizes that something's wrong with the upload, so he stops his and 2B's upload, like syncing with the server. He stops it and then pokes around the server, and then starts like learning weird things, like, okay, you guys sent empty supplies to the moon, like according to this report I found on the server, like Yorha was created before the mankind whatever group. And so he talks to the commander about that, and you find out that the humans have been dead for a really long time, and
even before the aliens even invaded, right?
Yeah, I think that's what what it had said. And it's like, oh, like they've been dead for a while. We just do this to like give ourselves like a mission. It keeps us going.
Yeah, and that was a really cool reveal, although I sort of suspected it. I've suspected that for a while now. Like after the aliens were revealed to have been dead and, more time goes by, I was just like, I don't know what exactly triggered it, but I was like, I bet the humans are fucking dead too.
Yeah. So
I guess because you just never hear from them at all other than those. I think you pointed out that the transmissions from the humans were like repeats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that was a pretty interesting twist. And I don't think there's never any dialogue of 9S like telling that to 2B. It's, after you learn that, then it goes into you having to like take 9S's perspective of the factory. And I thought that was pretty cool. You had to run around as a robot the whole time. You're just going from robot to robot hacking.
It took me way too long, like probably into this segment before I figured out with the hacking ability, you can actually control enemies if you hack them before they, notice you or whatever.
Yep. It's awesome. I had a really good time.
I can't believe they programmed in each machine like being controllable.
Yeah, it was very interesting. To be completely honest, I ran past every single battle that I could in this playing as 9S, like quite literally. If I could run past them, if it wasn't a boss battle, I ran past them. I'll tell you later more about it, but it's coming back to bite me at the moment. But that was kind of it. And then it goes through the same battles and the same cutscenes. It almost, one for one.
Yeah. There was one point where I thought maybe 9S was about to tell 2B about the human thing, and then he decides not to. I could be wrong about my interpretation of that scene. But what I don't understand, though, is what is the point behind keeping android morale up? Is it just like some kind of self-preservation thing that the commander androids are like, okay, without this motivation, we will literally die, or like our race will not continue, or whatever. And at that point, it seems like it's weird that the androids would even have the self-awareness to realize that.
Yeah, maybe it's like a way to keep them motivated to eventually eliminate all the robots and like take back Earth or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like maybe it's going to come down to like, okay, well, we pitted all these androids against the machines, but the machines seem like they may not be that bad for the most part, so we're fighting a meaningless war kind of deal. Mm-hmm.
It gets even more complex and interesting once you start this new section, and I'm really sad I can't talk about it. But yeah, let's just say it's very, very good. I will also say I am kind of tired of seeing credits in this game.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why they couldn't have just made it normal. Like, okay, you play this section and then you start over. Like, don't keep showing me credits and say that it's an ending. It's like it's ending A, it's ending B. Like, no, it's just this. It's just this. It's not the ending. It's like you're up to this point of the story from this perspective. Like
that's why people are so confused that haven't played this before as like how the story structure fucking works. Like I talked about how difficult it was to construct the RPG club around this game.
It's like ending A is not different from ending B. they're the exact same story, just from different perspectives. So it's not a different ending. So I don't know.
Honestly, like I kind of resent. I enjoyed playing as 9S, but I kind of resent that it made me play the whole game again as him, with as little differences as there were.
And I will say, probably about an hour after you, no, probably less than that. Probably about 20 to 30 minutes after you start this new section, you'll see credits again. I don't know why. You just see credits. It's like it's as if they're trying to lead you into like, oh, this is the ending. This is how it's ending. Just kidding. No, it's not. And it's like, oh, it's annoying. But
not to mention all the joke endings that seem to be literally pointless.
Yes.
Although Kai said that Yoko Taro can come up with entire games based off of joke endings, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Do you think the commander is on the side of like the androids taking their own will in their own hands, or do you think she is bad? Because she like let nine. She told 9S. Okay, so you already know. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to say about this section? I think I already covered the broad strokes, in my opinion.
Nope. The section made me like elevated 9S as definitely my favorite character. Like he was already like up there, but his perspective, as well as like the emotional development that he has, as well as like his presentation of all of the machine stories, just like he's a good character.
9S is awesome, and he must be protected. and call him Nines, damn it.
Yes. I can't wait for you to play this next section.
We'll probably start. Like I said, I'm gonna have lots of free time, so I'm sure I'll finish it early. So
think about what you just said, and then get back to me if there's a point that makes a light bulb go off.
Got it.
So we can talk about it. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to listener feedback. So sorry, I have like a different color coding on for my browser so I don't get blinded. Okay, I'll start it out.
Yeah, your lighting just totally changed.
So I'm usually purple whenever it's in light mode, but whenever I turn this extension on, I'm green. I didn't realize that. So Frost says, took me a while, but I realized that androids do have emotions. They are just supposed to suppress them. I am an idiot. No, you're not. Hacking is OP, but eventually wears thin and gets boring. This is very true, although I enjoy the 8-bit music swap. I also thought it was quite overpowered and very easy. Like, so easy. I did not have any issues with the hacking, and I felt like I could just keep hacking until I win.
I did not find it to be easy, but I did find it to be OP. So it's like, even if I had a hard time doing it, it was very much worth doing, especially against bosses. Like bosses, it just slaughters.
Yeah, I found my strategy to be like move very fast and sporadic, and then just shoot the whole time. Just like hold the entire the shooting button the entire time.
Yeah, and I could see how if you made the mistake where you didn't understand that androids actually do have emotions, how at least part of the plot would go over your head or be confusing, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I thought it was pretty clear just from 9S and even 2B early on that they do have emotions. They just aren't supposed to. Mm-hmm. Or supposed to express them anyway.
Yep.
Scribble Plays says, I was disappointed that we didn't get to play as 9S while he was hacking the machine network at the end of the route.
Oh, yes. This would have been
Seems like a big miss.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, that seemed like his final act of the first game, and we already had so much hacking. It's like, could you maybe diverted a little bit of that to be like have like a hacking final boss or something? I don't know.
I feel like there could have also been like a lot of because whenever he was hacking and he was like, oh, like they got me or whatever. Like I feel like there could have been really good scenes between him and Eve. Like
good point.
I just feel like Adam and Eve were so underdeveloped.
They really seem like kind of like token, like they needed a villain, so they threw those guys in, kind of. Mm-hmm. Hacking made everything much easier, And I love the segment of hacking and learning more when 9S split from 2B. Yeah, Jay and I discussed how the main takeaway of this, what the new shit that we learned was the stuff about the humans. That was a cool reveal. Just, man, I just wish they had done more with it, I guess. And we'll get more, I'm sure. But
I think the biggest takeaway is that the humans are dead, but also machines are a lot more complex and advanced and emotional.
yeah, I guess that's the point. The whole route B starts with 9S saying, like, stupid machine, you can't have a big brother.
Yeah, right. So Kai says, my thoughts stay similar to the last section, with my love of 9S shining through here. The line, you're thinking about how much you want to 4 stars to be, aren't you? Really shines through here and will resonate through the rest of the story, as well as everything connecting Nier. More when 9S split from 2B. So I feel like I saw this, I read this caption, but I was distracted by something at this particular scene. Who was it that said that?
I was going to ask you the same thing. It was either Adam or Eve, right? Probably Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that occurred during that whole frankly annoying section where like you would hack something in that labyrinth and then you would get a few pages of text. And it was eventually like Adam talking to 9S.
Yes, that happened. Yeah, that happened whenever Adam was kidnapped. I forgot about that. I guess that counts as like dialogue between them. But I kind of wanted scenes. That was kind of like a pain in the butt.
Yeah. And the dialogue, it easily could have been made into a scene if they, had the budget for it or whatever.
Yep.
So obviously what you're supposed to think when you read that is fuck 2B.
Yes.
And that like kind of weirded me out when I read that, because like maybe he does, but I never really got that vibe between them necessarily. I mean, obviously the ending is 2B straddling his dying corpse, but
and choking him,
and choking him
into,
yeah. But do you think it's like going to surprise us with the 4 stars or something else, like maybe love? Or do you think it's just going to go unanswered? Kill? Huh. That could be it, too.
No, it's not that one. Yeah, I guess it doesn't necessarily tell you exactly what verb that is. But I don't know. I think it speaks to the overall like emotional confusion of 9S, because at this because of the way that these androids are emotionally developed, like 9S might as well emotionally be like a 12 or a 13-year-old. And whenever you're 12 or 13, like you want to screw everything, but you're like you don't know what that means. You don't know how you're supposed to feel. Like in some situations you might feel a little guilty about it, like you just don't understand it. So I think there's some parallels there between 9S and like a I don't know, a preteen going through puberty.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the fuck 2B, so if that's really what it meant, then
he does get pretty ticked after that, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm sure. Well, with this game, who knows? But I'm sure we'll loop back to that, especially since Kai seemed to emphasize it in their little message here. But that's all our listener feedback. And so the next deadline is January 3rd to finish the mission Pascal's Despair and Route C.
Oh, no.
What, did you already do it?
No, I just hope nothing's wrong with Pascal.
Yeah. I was about to call him she, but technically I think the gender of Pascal is male, because the character's always called Pascal he, despite the feminine voice. So this is the penultimate section, and so the 2 weeks after that, we'll finally finish the game. But yeah, finish Pascal's Despair and Route C by January 3rd.
Gonna be good. I will say, like I've where I'm at right now, I am being decimated, even on easy. So I'm gonna have to do something to reconcile that.
What level are you?
30 something.
I can't remember what my level is. I think it might be in the 50s. But
Yeah.
you may just have to just do some side quests or something.
If there are no weak enemies around, how much?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I may just have to like stock up on lots and lots of potions and just or med packs or whatever and just get through it.
Watch you not be able to beat the game.
Yeah, I'd be so ticked because it's like I'm enjoying the game. I want to beat it and get to the end, but these freaking battles, these action adventure bullshit.
Yeah, I haven't started Route C yet, but I found it to be easy. But
If I
like I
had
said,
a
we've been
god
doing too
mode,
much.
just one hit everything to get to the story, I totally would.
Time for the YouTube walkthroughs or video or Let's Plays, I should say.
Yep.
But I think that's it for our RPG club this week. You ready to move on to our closing ceremony here?
Let's do it. Alrighty. So that wraps up our kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a different episode. It was supposed to be a shorter episode, but I think we hit over an hour at this point because Scott and I just talk. We're talkers.
Yep. I think it did turn out to be a normal length episode. Not a super long one, but
And that's with the no main topic, no save state of the podcast. Crazy. What are we gonna do? I don't know.
we suck.
I don't know how to get past this. But regardless, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Next week, we're going to be doing like a Secret Santa episode. We did a little Secret Santa thing for the podcast. So we're going to open the gifts and talk about it. And I don't know, figure something else out to talk about, maybe a reflection of the last year. But that's currently what we have planned, at least.
Yeah, and I think the episode after that, which will be the first one of the new year, we're going to revisit our 2020 resolutions and make some new ones. So that's coming too.
Excellent.
But yeah, going into our plugs a little bit here. How can people help the show, Jay?
So one way that you can help us is to rate and review. So wherever you are listening to your podcasts, give us a review, give us a positive rating. If you are not particularly fond of us, if you're not digging it, of course we'll take bad reviews, but give us a chance. Send us an email at rpgafteryears@gmail.com. Tell us what you don't like about the episode, and then we can try to make changes and discuss what we may be doing wrong if it's not appealing to you.
Yeah, and another excellent way to help the show is Patreon. We do have a Patreon with lots of great benefits, such as early episode access, ad-free episodes. You get access to the Aftercast. Jay, Rich, and I recorded an episode about all the Cyberpunk launch drama well before that conversation had matured, really, I guess. But catch the early thoughts on that. That's out now. You can get extra reviews. We're always finishing non-RPGs that we try to throw on there. We got lots coming down the pipeline. You can participate in the nominations and voting for the next RPG Club, which is now not that far off, maybe like a month. And there's lots of other benefits. For example, the higher tiers get a monthly gift. We sent a Tervis, an RPG After Years Tervis, and some magnets and stickers to our $10 patrons last week. They probably don't have them yet, but nice benefit. And I also want to give a shout out to a new patron. They are, let me find their name here real quick. It's Randall Husky. Randall, I don't know if we actually know you in the cyberspace of the internet and our Discord or whatever, but regardless, we very much appreciate your new patronage. You're a real G, Randall.
Sorry, did you already tell them the link?
Did I?
Patreon.com/RPG After Years.
There it is again. Extra reinforcement, whether I did or didn't.
Just in case. So you can find us streaming to Twitch typically every Sunday around 9 a.m. Eastern, with fluctuations in that around the holidays or around special events or special reviews with guests or Bill. So you can find that on twitch.tv/RPG After Years.
Hopefully we'll get back to a regular schedule soon. It'll just all depend on how our various lives evolve. Another quick way to help the show, we do have merch. I mentioned the Tervis and the stickers and magnets a minute ago, but there's shirts and apparel and all kinds of crazy products with our logo and album art emblazoned onto it. You can find all that at redbubble.com/people/RPG After Years/explore, or just search RPG After Years on Redbubble.
We also have a really fun Discord. So if you are interested in that, interested in talking with the community, or just, I don't know, we have so many different random conversations, tons of channels about various RPG series, non-RPGs, a few channels about coding and even fitness related stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, you can find a link in the show notes or our pinned tweet on Twitter.
Absolutely. And speaking of Twitter, the show can be found at RPG Years, and you can find me at the Scott Spot.
You can find me at JAYD So, fun episode. I had a good time sitting here chatting with you, Scott. It's kind of new one-on-one. Maybe we'll do this more often. Maybe we'll kick Rich out.
Bye, Rich. You're fired.
All right. So until next time, guys and gals and theys, we love you. We hope you have great holidays. Peace out.
It's been a good time. I'm Scott.
I'm Jay.
Bye, guys. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much.
Happy holidays.